Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Crime Centric. This being a show where I talk about crime dramas that I watch. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about Barry, Season 1, Episode 6. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. So, Barry and Fuchs are adjusting to Taylor being a part of the team, and I don't know if that was his main motivation for doing what he did, keeping Taylor alive, is that he sees Taylor as an opportunity to get out of this life, because it's like, right, Fuchs needs a killer. Well, Taylor's here, he knows what's what, so just get him involved, make him that guy that can, and I can do what I want to. I can get out of all of this, I can focus on acting. And I love that Barry finds himself kind of torn between kind of what he wants and what Fuchs wants and what Taylor kind of wants, because Fuchs like, yo, let's keep doing what we're doing, Barry. We've been so successful at it. Let's kill Taylor before he gets us killed or get us arrested. Talking to Taylor, Taylor's like, yo, you might as well kill Fuchs because you want to do other stuff, but he doesn't want to let you. But for Barry, it's like, no, I can't. He's family, which then sends him into like a fantasy later on when his kids are older, they're like teenagers, and his son's like, yo, Dad, who's this? This is a picture of you when you were in the military. And it's like, yo, who's this guy beside you? He's like, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's supposed to be a future where it's like, right, I killed Fuchs, and he's just someone I forgot about, even though I do lump him in as someone that's family. But I love that after the sequence, he kind of shakes his head almost like, ugh, what was up with that science fictional angle? Because it's so far in the future, he's older and technology's advanced and stuff. I love that he had just go like, oh, that was weird. Everything in this episode kind of, well, I mean, not just this episode, last episode too, shows you like how much of a crazy person Taylor is. Fact is, it's like, yeah, I don't get the whole thing of just like watching hardcore porn in front of someone else. It's just like, oh, Barry comes out of the bathroom, oh, this is still going on, and because Taylor definitely seems like a wild man, because he definitely is. Just even his approach to how they want to take out the guy that's supposed to be coming because his stash house got attacked, that dude, Taylor wants to do a full frontal assault. He wants a bum rush, but Barry's like, no, well, I'll snipe at him from far away with a rifle. But Taylor's all about like coming at it from a different perspective, and that's the complicated rub of this all. So Barry's balancing that, going to class, which he does apologize to the rest of the class, and they're like, no, it's okay, Barry, we're sorry, we didn't realize. It's like, right, we took a quiz, and yeah, we're all in a bubble, so one guy's like, yeah, I'm just going to learn as much as I can about World War II. I think it's the same dude later on. It's like, yo, Barry, do you have IBS? Because I have IBS, so I just, I wanted to talk to you about it. He's like, when I was 12 years old, and then his scene cuts. But what I think is so fascinating is you got the rest of everyone going like, yeah, and then you get to like, I don't think you really get to see, or they don't make a point of like what Sally's reaction really is to that. Side note, we find out that she got the role of Lady Macbeth. We don't see Natalie this episode. I'm wondering, is it because around this time, this is 2018, so I'm sure this is still during Good Place, so maybe she couldn't be in this as much anymore because of or maybe it was always meant to be like a smaller role, whatever the case may be. Because this is probably around the time Good Place would have. I don't remember when Good Place started. I wanted to say it started like 2018, but maybe it was earlier. Whatever the case may be, part of me wonders is like why we won't be seeing Darcy too much more in the show just because the Good Place is happening around this time. So, but she ended up getting the role, and Barry's so focused on that. Plus, Taylor put all that money in his bag, so he's stashing it at the at acting class, and it turns into this whole thing of like, right, say something to Sally, she's gonna say it back to you, and it's basically like a practicing like saying it different ways, almost with different emotions, and it's like, right, just tell her I love you, and he's like, I love you, and she's like, I love you. And he's like, yeah, like you're saying it almost like you mean it. She's saying it as if she can't stand you and that she wants nothing to do with you, telling you to get the hell out. And it's like, right, he changes the way he says it, because I think it's hard to say what each one is thinking in that scene, because I think he realizes like, right, whatever there is, like what I might be feeling is very one-sided. So he's like, I love you, like very like finally like dejected a little and just kind of accepting the reality of it. And because I think partway through it, she started realizing like, oh, you kind of mean what you're saying, and trying to get it across like, right. It was an awkward thing, but it's not clear whether she's just taking it as like, oh, it's an acting game. It seemed like when Jean was like, okay, good, that was great, you guys. Like, it seemed like she was kind of relieved, almost like, oh god, that's over, because it seems like she was probably catching what was going on with Barry, and once again, she just didn't feel the same way. So, and later on, she wants something more challenging. She's like, right, I played Lady Macbeth, and Jean's like, I literally gave you the role from Natalie. What more do you want? She wants to be Macbeth. And also, she had that line, issue with like Barry. He was like, right, then Barry's going to be this person, and he's like, come on, Sally, it's one line. I guess it's like maybe Jean kind of picked up that there's an awkwardness between them. It's like, right, it's going to be one line. Maybe I'm not familiar with like Macbeth like through and through. So I don't know what that character's correlation is to Macbeth and why Sally would have an issue with that, but she is getting a role at Macbeth. I was wondering whether or not, I was kind of worried for her for a second when Home Dude was there, because Goran got on him, because it's like, wait, you were following Barry? It's like, yes, he was doing all this other stuff, hooking up with a nun, when it was Sally dressed up in that nun outfit for that doubt scene that she was trying to do between her and Barry. And it's like, right, I've been following him. It's like, why are you doing this? It's like, he killed my brother. It's like, oh my god, get over it already. I mean, God, like, oh, like, he killed my brother. It's so boring. You know, so he's like, right, let me kill Barry. But it's like, no, Barry is good as what he does. He got us a very good stash house. Now you do what you do, get to put on your creepy apron and your creepy hockey mask and get to chopping these bodies up. So you go do you. But he's like, fine, I won't go after Barry. And so he decides to go after Sally. So he was going to kill her because she's someone that's important to Barry. He's like, right, you kill my brother, I'm going to kill someone important to you. Unfortunately for him, Detective Moss ended up showing up there because she went to go see Jean. Because they're having their little torrent affair. The fact is that it's like, oh, Jean's like, oh, it's been a week anniversary, you think I wouldn't forget. And it's been about 3 nights. Because at first he was like, yeah, I figured you were just, you know, thinking that there was something going on with my acting class because of Ryan's murder, and that you were just using that as an excuse to see me. He was like, oh, I was flattered by that, and he really enjoys the time they spent together. But she's in this particular space of like, right, it is a conflict of interest, like it's not appropriate. I don't know if there's legally anything wrong with that. I mean, morally it's frowned upon. Because it's like, right, it muddies up the investigation, but I don't know if legally it's an issue. I think maybe legally, like if you're investigating something and if it ever goes to like a courtroom situation, it could always poison the prosecution or something, because the defense could always be like, yo, these people were in a relationship and it compromises the investigation. So I think I guess that's what would be like the legal ramifications of it. But luckily, she showed up when she did, looking for Jean, and then she runs into Home Dude again. She's like, "Oh, what's that accent? It's like Russian." And he starts taking off running, and I was scared for a second when he went to his car, started blasting. I was like, "Oh God, don't let Detective Moss die. That would suck." But she put him down, and I was almost worried because when she went to the other side of the car, I was like, "Please don't let him get don't let it be a, oh man, they kill each other thing." But it's like, no, she got him. And later on, when she sees Jean, she kind of finally let go. She was already kind of letting go. I think she was trying to let go of the acting class situation and just be like, right, this is the end of this. But despite all that, I think she wanted to make everyone else in the, like, you know, at the department think like, oh, she was finally moving on. When in actuality, it's like, right, no one at work's going to know the truth, but I'm still going to go see Jean. That's why she went. But seeing Jean, she calls him Mr. Katsuno, and she's just like being as professional as she can be. And Loach is like, right, so why did you come here even though you made it seem like you were done investigating this place? It's like, she's like, I'm so sorry, I'm sorry. He's like, but is it over? She's like, yes, it is. So let's get back to work. So I don't know if that has any correlation with his relationship recently having ended after a year. I don't know. But like I said, I think it's just legal. I think it's just the optics of, you're a police officer, he's part of this investigation, we're investigating his guys. Like, no, especially because they found the money that Barry had stashed there. Now they're thinking that Ryan might not have just been some random victim. They're thinking like, oh, well, besides just the whole stuffing Goran's wife, that besides just that he might have been actually working with the Chechens in that regard. So he's their view of him as a victim is changing quite a bit, I think. So it's going to be interesting to see how that development kind of affects things all around. Barry is trying to get Taylor to, he's like, right, bro, I'm just going to handle this by myself. And yeah, and Taylor just kept being like, yeah. And then he looks at the phone and was like, okay, is he really going to accept that, or is he going to show up and do something? Wow. He shows up and does something. Wow. He brought in Chris and that other dude, that's their bud. And it's like, right, we've got the manpower now to bummer. She's like, yo, I heard what you said, bro. And it's like, no, you didn't. And I think that's supposed to be like the thing of, right, you're not listening, Taylor. And maybe if Barry had changed the way in which he approached it, instead of him saying like, because Fuchs was like, tell him to either shut up or do what you want, or you're going to shove a bayonet up his ass. And Barry, kind of being who he is, ended up being like, yeah, so I'm going to just, like, he tried to go a more pleasant route with it, but he should have been a little bit more forceful, because things go pear-shaped immediately because of that. So now Chris is involved, and Barry doesn't like that. He's like, yo, Chris, get out of the car, because he has a family to go back to. And so he felt bad if, like, right, we got involved in this and Chris got hurt. Probably didn't even want, because Chris is under the impression, like, right, we're just scaring a guy. It's like, oh, so Taylor didn't tell you we're not scaring a guy, we're killing someone. Taylor knows for a fact what's going on, but he kind of omitted it from his other buddy is super about it. Taylor Chris super wouldn't have been, but. And so it's like, right, this is supposed to be the heel, but he doesn't turn because Taylor read Gene's book about, and, God, what was it? I forgot the line. It's basically one of the previous episode titles about, taking a risk or something like that. And Taylor, with his behavior and just his mentality, it's like no, let's go full charge ahead. And they go straight at the plane, and him and his buddy are super like, yeah. And then the car gets lit up, and it seems like the two of them in the front are dead. Now, whether Chris got hit, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, even to the point the episode cuts off, there's no music at the end. The credits is silent, so that's interesting. So if Barry had changed his approach to things, if he'd actually kind of, because I guess Barry tried to apply what he learned from the lesson he had in this episode, acting lesson between him and Sally, that tried to apply that. But the thing is, Taylor was in his own, like, lane of, like, right, he wasn't really listening, and he was sure responding, but he wasn't really listening. So I thought that was kind of a neat parallel storytelling wise. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see where the next episode takes us going forward with all of this. But really, that's all I'm going to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and good